Hi, everybody, and welcome to this evening's webinar, the Shared by Live webinar with SNG, Sovereign Network Group. And today we're going to be looking into a deep dive into shared ownership with Shared Ownership Explained. At the end of the session, we will be hosting a Q&A with our speakers. So make sure you ask them all of your burning questions about shared ownership or anything that you want to try and catch them out on, then do your best. Today's hosts are myself, Nick Leib, the Chief Operations Officer at Share to Buy. We've got Columbu Musabashimi from SNG and Andreas Krutins from Regenta. And today we're going to look at all about shared ownership, who's it for, how it works, what a typical home buying journey looks like, and then there'll be a little bit of a case study of shared ownership at the development Northwick Parkside in Harrow. And then after that, as I say, we'll be able to put your questions to our panel as well. So at this point, I will hand over to Columbu and Andreas. So thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kolumba. I am the head of sales for the London East region at SNG. SNG are an affordable housing provider. We currently provide over 85,000 homes across a range of tenures. And we operate in London and the East. We also operate in the Southeast and the Southwest of England. And we're one of the UK's largest housing associations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andreas, and I'm representing Regenta. I'm a sales manager who is looking after Northwick Parkside. We have experience over 37 years in property, and we partnered with SNG selling many different developments. I think it's right now going to be a fourth, personally, mine that I'm looking after. And we're proud to say that our sales consultants have a deep understanding of shared ownership journey to help you to move towards the home ownership.
So, what is shared ownership? Well, it's a government-backed alternative to a traditional way of buying a home. Um, what in essence it does, it allows you to buy your property using a smaller portion in terms of a deposit because you're only buying a share. And as long as you meet the eligibility criteria, shared ownership offers you an affordable alternative route to homeownership. Next one. So what is the eligibility criteria? All applicants must be over the age of 18. The combined income of all applicants must be less than £90,000 a year in London and £80,000 a year outside London. All applicants must not own another home at the time of completion. So if you do own a property and you want to move into shared ownership, you have to be in the process of selling that. So how does it work? In essence, you buy a share, typically starting from around 25%, but you can buy lower shares, and you pay rent on the rest of the property. In essence, the share that you don't buy, the percentage value, you pay rent on that. The rent depends on the service provider, but it's typically around 2.75% of the value. You can staircase. You can buy additional shares. That's the process called staircasing. And we've got another slide. The next slide, please, which explains staircasing. So people would typically increase their shares during the process called staircasing. Typically, people will increase their shares by 10%, but you can do this in higher or smaller shares. As you increase your ownership within the property, your rent will naturally go down. When you reach 100% ownership, you will not pay any more rent and you own the property outright. Next slide. So what does the journey look like? So first you start your search for the property and find what is right for you. You start your application, including an affordability assessment. You appoint a solicitor. Once that's all gone fine, you reserve your home. You move to apply for the mortgage. Once that mortgage is approved and you've gone through other sales processes, you can exchange contracts. Once you've exchanged contracts, you then complete and move into your property. Here's an example of the process for a one-bed property at Norfolk Parkside, where we're selling now. The full market value on this property is £375,000. For a 25% share, you'll be buying at 93,750. A 5% mortgage on that 93,750 is 4,688. So this gives you a chance to get on the property ladder using a smaller deposit. This is a case study of two sisters that bought a shared ownership property in North London. They bought it with just 15,000 deposit. They were previously living at a home with their parents, and as both their careers began to take off, they decided it was the right time to go into the property ladder. Together, they purchased 25% share of a 9th floor apartment for 151,000 and haven't looked back since. In quotes, they say, "Having our own home has given us such a sense of freedom and independence. People shouldn't be afraid to explore shared ownership as a way to buy." Here's a video as an example of something we're doing in Norfolk Park.
Good evening, everyone, again. I will just describe a little bit more in details what Norfolk Parkside is all about. It's a partnership between SNG and Countryside Homes. When you're going to come and visit us, don't be alarmed. A lot of high vises the contractor is wearing is Vistry, because Countryside operates under Vistry Group. They are creating a new neighborhood in Harrow, which is fantastic down there, as you probably rightly kind of understood from the name of this development. It's next to the park. We are actually sitting under the Brent Council. If anyone wants to find out what the council tax will be, this is quite a big project. SNG is delivering 654 new homes across a mix of tenures, and it includes, if you look on the right side, different tenures, where they're located. And applications right now open on the first phase, which is Cobble Place, and if you can see, it's in the block C4. On the next slide, you will be able to see the bird's eye view. Nick, thank you. This is how it looks like from up in the skies. Number one, you can see location of Norfolk Parkside development itself. Moving towards number two, it is very short distance towards the Norfolk Park station, and you see Norfolk Park and Norfolk Park Hospital in the background, and Harrow. We're actually surrounded with quite a few more tube stations, Metropolitan, Bakerloo lines, and overground, including Kenton, South Kenton, Norfolk Parkside, and Harrow on the Hill. You can see, I like that this slide actually shows the minutes, how quickly you can walk, transport by bus or by the tube station itself. I believe Norfolk Parkside, it should be immediate and not 2 minutes walk. As well, Norfolk Park Station is 5 minutes, and you there can find the coffee. On the bus, there's a great connection. As behind us, you probably noticed, there is Norfolk Park Hospital, and it's very well connected with the bus routes, so you can get in Harrow in 10 minutes, and Edgware 20 minutes, and bring Cross Shopping Centre under 25 minutes. In terms of the tube from the Norfolk Park, Wembley Park only takes you 4 minutes, Baker Street 17, and King Cross 23. So we're indeed close to everything. We will be speaking about the Copper Place, Block C4, which is the first release of shared ownership apartments. We have 1 and 2 bedrooms available right now for applications. We have quite a good choice of different layouts available, and every single plot has access to the balcony and terrace, with all integrated appliances. I have a lot of customers amazed by our show unit, and they quite often ask for the furniture, but unfortunately we're only selling the properties. But a good part that all the appliances are integrated and will be provided to you with the warranties with them. So it will include fridge, freezer, hob, oven, dishwasher, and a washer dryer. Washer dryer probably is quite important to have in a modern property, because sometimes there is limitations how you can dry clothes outside. All throughout, we have underfloor heating, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of our customers. It doesn't restrict you on the furniture placement. So there is no big radiators surrounded the property, and everything is on the floor. We also have a community space in Copper Place on the first floor, which is landscaped podium gardens, where all the neighbors can say hello to each other. We do have a lot of applications right now, actually, from the hospital, nurses, doctors. So I don't know, I consider this development as well as private healthcare. And obviously, this development as well, good to mention, it's pet friendly. Please be alarmed what you call a pet. We don't accept alligators, bears, or elephants. We'll have a little bit deep dive in one of our options that's available. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom property. As soon as you enter in the hallway, you probably will notice a utility room, so it's kept quite away from the bedrooms and the living kitchen area. So washer dryer, it's going to be located there, and which will provide you a little bit nicer feel when it's running. Also, you have access to the storage very close to the front door. Bathroom is located closer to the bedroom 2, and bedroom 1 compromised with an ensuite and as a private bathroom. And also bedroom number 1, which we call master bedroom, will have a built-in wardrobe. The living room is, in my opinion, is quite generously sized. It's quite wide. It's almost 6 meters wide and 4.5 meters in length. As we rightly mentioned, every single property has access to the balcony. On the ground floor on this particular plot, we'll have a patio, which is just above 8 meters in length. So come and check it out with us. On the next slide, we'll be able to tell you about how does it work and what is actually going to cost you. So this particular layout, full market value is 485,000. It's also small caveat, it depends on what floor you want to be, because the higher you go, they're placed priced a little bit differently, but 25% of 485 is 121,250. And minimum deposit that is required by the lenders and by us is £6,063. There is additional cost will be, obviously, which will be including solicitors, sometimes mortgage payments, valuation fee, and all, etc. So please do ask us these questions once you visit us. But in overall, on the monthly cost, how much it's will likely to cost you. Obviously, we don't know your personal details, and but we took the most average monthly mortgage repayment, and the rent is calculated correctly, because we can do that without deep dive in your personal details. And monthly service charge all in together comes just above 1,700. which is for a lot of people, as we see the interest, is affordable. And if you compare to the private market rent to the similar property, people are able to save money by buying shared ownership. On the next slides, we're gonna. I noticed in some webinars a lot of people raising a lot of questions, so we'll try to answer them in this session as frequently asked questions. Will I be limited to certain property types? The short answer is no. Shared ownership is offered on all types of homes. So, but we will ask you some questions because under GLA requirements, we're not allowed to overcrowd the property. So, to expect some questions as how many people in your household, and if you answer 4, we might not be able to allocate for you a 1-bedroom. So. Just be aware of that. Will I be able to sell my home in the future? The answer is yes. Shared ownership is designed to be sold when it's the right time for you. And SNG will actually help you to find a new buyer. The small caveat on this side, most of the housing associations will have exclusive selling rights, period nomination. With SNG, it's going to be 8 weeks. The reason why housing association have the exclusive rights is just to help somebody like you to step on a property ladder, which means to find somebody who's looking for shared ownership property. After this period, you will be able to instruct high street agent and sell it in an open market. Will I be able to have a pet? Yeah. Pets are often allowed, and Norfolk Parkside, it is pet friendly. Just remember my comment about who you call a pet. And you need to ask permission first before your completion, and you require a license to have your pet in your home. Licensing is predominantly made to control behavior of the pets. Sometimes people know bad stories, so this license can be revoked. Oh, that's quite a frequent question. Will I be sharing my home with other people? Because shared ownership buyers sometimes asking us a question, who is going to own another share of my property? Don't worry, nobody's going to come to you and start drawing the lines saying this 25% is mine. So you don't have to share your home with anyone else unless you want to. So, but for example, yeah, it's uncommon for siblings to buy a home together. Will I ever be able to own 100% of my home? Yes. Majority of shared ownership leases allow you to staircase to 100% ownership. There is a protection from the lenders if there is shared ownership that doesn't allow you to staircase to 100%. They are not that friendly to lend you money for it. So, but be sure to check with your solicitor and with your sales consultant. We, as sales consultants, we under an estate agent act that we need to provide you only the truth and nothing except the truth. So all our emails are legally binded. And we will have to provide you prior to your reservation the key information details for the property, which will describe all the details in the future, how you're going to be living, and including if you can staircase to 100%. Will I have to buy more shares in the future? No, if you don't want to, but it is an option always available for you. As Columba explained, the staircasing, they typically you do it from 10% shares, buying in portion. The lenders have their own view. Sometimes they want to lend you quite a high number in shares, but you can do it as little as 1%. so portion by portion. I hope I answered some of your questions. This is where most important slide probably is, where to find us. So please make a picture of this. Don't make a calls right now because my phone will start ringing, but send us an email, check our website to find out more and visit us.
Thanks very much, Andreas. Thanks very much, Columba. So we've had a few questions coming in from the audience. I'll start with a question which is about staircasing. Is it possible to staircase to 100%? I've heard some older contracts will not allow staircasing to 100%, only 80%. Can I know if that is still valid?
You will be able in most instances to staircase to 100%. It's quite scheme specific. There are certain schemes where there are certain restrictions, I think up to about 80%. I know of schemes in Hertfordshire where that applies, but for most schemes, you will be able to staircase to 100%.
Yeah, there's some what's known as rural shared ownership properties. So they tend to be in small villages or even hamlets.
Yes,
And when
that's
shared
correct.
ownerships in those areas, there is capped staircasing, and that's just because they want to try and keep it as a staircasing property. But I don't think I've ever come across a capped staircasing property in London. I don't know if either of you two have, but yeah, I think it's
No, for a long time, but yeah, it's a valid question about this. Yes, please do check before it will be written in your lease and in your contract. So
Mhm.
it is an important question to ask.
Yeah, just to be 100% sure, ask your sales negotiator, ask the solicitor that you're working with for the conveyancing, and they'll be able to give you a complete answer on that. Next question, we've got somebody asking, if somebody got a two-bed property, are you allowed to rent out the second room to someone?
That's a good question. And yes, you are allowed to sublet your second room. At least it is the case at Norfolk Parkside. And Columba, do you have any information about the wider?
Just to add, in most instances, you will need your housing association's permission, but you generally are allowed to with their permission.
Yeah, in most cases that I'm aware of, yeah, as the guy says, as long as you let the housing association know that for insurance purposes, but you can take a lodger. You still have to live in the property. You can't sublet the property, so you
Mhm.
can't move out and rent it out to people while you're not living there. But you can have a lodger in most cases. The income that you receive from the lodger won't be um, accounted for when you're speaking to a mortgage broker to determine the affordability and how much you can get for your mortgage, because that's seen as kind of future income rather than income that you've got at the time of purchasing the property. But yes, in most cases, lots of people do take lodgers where they've got an extra bedroom. Um, Next question. Got somebody here who says, I actually live 4 hours travel from London. Do you have any properties that are outside of London?
SNG operate across a number of regions, so it depends on where outside
Exactly,
London
yeah.
you're looking, because we have properties in Bristol, we have properties in Southampton, in Winchester, in Hertfordshire, and we're also looking at areas in South Bedfordshire now. So it really depends on where outside London you're looking. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do have properties outside London.
I think it's an amazing portal that Share to Buy to check where the property is located and find your suitable property.
Yeah, there is shared ownership properties all over the country these days. Certainly a lot more than there was a few years ago. So yeah, if you haven't already, check out the Shed to Buy website and search in the area that you're looking for. Next one up, I would like staircasing to be explained a little bit more. How quickly can somebody staircase after they've moved in? And are there any particular requirements at the time of staircasing?
You can actually staircase quite quickly. The reason why most people don't is because they've probably put most of their disposable income into their initial purchase. But when you're ready, I think is the answer. When you're ready, you're able to increase your number of shares in the property. The only challenge you may have with smaller shares is that the lenders might not have the appetite for your 2, 3, 4%. It's usually the larger chunks that the lenders will support you in buying. So if you're going to buy smaller shares, it will really have to be from your own funds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely agree. There is no restrictions, at least on Norfolk Parkside, but there are some housing providers that will limit you for first 6 months, not
Mm.
allowing you to buy more shares, and after that, you can do it. Some of the housing providers as well limit you on number of times that you can staircase. So please check this with your solicitors.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, just economically, it tends to work out better to try and staircase in slightly larger chunks than 2,
Yeah.
3%, because there are some fees associated with staircasing as well. So you don't want to be constantly having to pay those fees if you're just staircasing in the smaller chunks. There is 1% staircasing on the new model lease properties. Does that apply to Norfolk Parkside?
Yes, it does.
It does, yeah. So you are able to staircase 1% per year. Is that correct, Andreas? And there's no fees with that if you as long as you can
Yeah,
afford.
there are still some, but there is no admin fees
Right.
that SNG charge you on the 1% staircasing.
Yeah. I've got a question here, somebody asking specifically about their salary. That's not really the type of question that we can answer now. What I'd advise, if you're unsure about whether your salary is enough for share ownership, is either contact Andreas on the details on the screen after, and he can put you in touch with the mortgage advisors that will be working on this scheme. Or if you're interested in just speaking to a broker, otherwise, we have some brokers advertised on the Share to Buy website, or you can find them on the SNG website, or just by Googling shared ownership mortgage brokers. If I have a house in Africa, can I qualify for shared ownership here in the UK?
Mhm. That's unfortunate answer I have to give. That HMRC and SDLT consider you not a first-time buyer. If you own a property anywhere in the world, you're already a homeowner somewhere. So unfortunately, you will need to transfer your title, ideally to sell it, and provide us the proof. And then, if you don't own the property anywhere in the world, you will be able to submit the application to us.
I don't know about this particular scheme, but somebody's asked about are there any older person shared ownership uh, units available at the Northwick Park side?
No.
It's not an older person scheme
Mm.
specific, but there isn't any restriction at Northwick Park on who can buy there. So,
Yeah,
but it's not exclusive for older people.
yeah. Obviously, there's some considerations that the mortgage lenders will look at depending on
Yeah.
your age.
As long as you can get a mortgage, yeah.
The person in question who's asked this question says that they're 75. If you're looking specifically for older person shared ownership properties, again you can search by that scheme type on the Share to Buy website as well and see which properties are definitely available under that scheme. What is the percentage of the rental increases every year?
Well, there is the guidance, and there is a capping mechanism for housing providers. At Norfolk Parkside, it is inflation plus 1% that the maximum SNG can increase their rent. Review is happening every year. Sometimes it increases, and sometimes it's not. Bank of England job, I all the time say, to keep inflation under 2%. So if you remember the slide previously, the rent was about £800. So if the inflation is at 2%, the maximum increase can be 3%, which indicates about £24 additionally every month. So they have a capping mechanism that they're not allowed to exceed.
Yeah, thank you very
Just
much.
to add to that, it also depends on the type of lease you're on, because I think previously it was um, RPI plus 0.5%. So you would need to look at your lease and just know which type of increase applies to the property you own. And typically these increase in April if they are going to increase.
Excellent, thank you. A couple of questions that are linked that I've just got here that came in one after another. So one person asked, are renovations allowed And another person asked, can you redecorate and can you make any adjustments to the property?
Yes, you are. You need to consider this as your home, so you need to make yourself comfortable living in there. There are some, when you're buying an apartment, there are some rules and regulations, what you can do, what you need to do, apply for consent. But simple answer is yes. No to structural changes. Please be aware of that and check
Mhm.
your lease.
So this might be one that either of you could answer based on what else you guys are selling at the moment. Do you have any properties at the moment available in Southwest London?
There is plenty of properties. I think the Share to Buy website is probably will be number one choice for you to check. I think there is something out of our belt that you can check.
Yeah. Cal, anything that you're aware of that SNG have got in
Yeah,
Southwest
close
London?
southwest type. So you're talking about, our closest scheme will probably be something in Brentford. We're selling there. We've also got some stuff coming up in Southall, probably next year. My suggestion would be just keep an eye on our website. We do have lots of properties available throughout London, but if I'm to speak about the live scheme, we've got, in the vicinity of where you're looking close enough, it would probably be our Brentford scheme, and we still have properties available there.
Yeah. And there's lots of properties as as Andreas kindly said on the Shed to Buy website that are in the
Yeah.
southwest of London as well. Um, We've got a question here. What costs can we expect to pay when getting into shared ownership? And will this be the same for all housing associations? So I guess I'll talk about the monthly costs that'll be there, and then maybe one of you guys could just tell us about if there's any extra fees in the buying process or any extra fees that buyers might expect to pay when they're living in the property. So on a monthly basis in a shared ownership property, you'll be paying your rent, the rent for the share that you haven't purchased yet, and the mortgage on the share that you have purchased. And if it's a property with service charge or building insurance, then there may be a monthly fee towards that as well. In the buying process, are there any extra fees that the buyers would expect to pay?
Yes, well, legal fees, solicitor fees, mortgage arrangement fees. Sometimes you need to pay for your own survey, and application sometimes requires some fees. When you are completing on the property, you will be expected to pay for the remainder of the month rent and for the next month upfront, including with the service charge. So when you're visiting us, we'll be able to provide you a little bit more information on what it's actually this figure will be. But yes, on the side, you will still need to have a little bit of more money saved, not just this minimum 5% deposit. Minimum 5% deposit applies mostly for the lender to see evidence that you can save this money for them to provide you with the remainder. But solicitors, mortgage, rent, service charge as well require some funds.
Who is responsible for repairs in a shared ownership property when and if they're needed?
Well, your internal repairs, you would be responsible, but if you're living in a block of flats, the communal repairs will be obviously down to the housing association, and you will likely pay for this through your service charge.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
And don't forget that you have the warranties and the insurances in place. With every new build, it's a little bit more peace of mind when you're moving in the property.
Thanks. Andreas, you mentioned that you can't let four people buy a one bed generally, but could you allow a single person to buy a two bed or a three bed property?
Yes, there is no restrictions on that. And as I'm saying, the only one thing that's stopping us is overcrowding clause that we need to provide you a decent accommodation based on your needs.
What is the process of evaluating the value of the property at the point of staircasing or selling a property?
Well, you need to get a RICS valuation. So, the housing provider will base the value on an up-to-date risk valuation. And depending on your provider, you may need to pay for that valuation.
Yeah.
So that is how the value of the property is established, and it may have increased or even decreased from the time you purchased it.
Okay, we'll ask a few more questions and then we'll wrap up for this evening. But thanks for everybody who's submitted the questions. They're all coming in pretty rapidly at the moment. Can you buy your 25% share in cash, or does it need to be a mortgage?
Oh, that's a great question. The short answer, yes. There is restrictions on the cash purchases through the housing providers, but it depends on your own situation. But it still means that you need to pass the affordability assessment because there is other aspects of the cost for the property, including the rent on unowned share and the service charge.
If I can just add, there's nothing wrong with buying cash, but there will need to be, clear line as to where the cash came from. So the AML checks will need to prove that how you've managed to accumulate those funds, because shared ownership is meant to be an affordable housing product for people who are struggling to even meet that deposit requirement. So when you have a larger amount where you can buy 100% of the portion you want to buy, raise a few questions, but it's not restricted to only people who can get a mortgage. So your individual circumstances will determine whether or not you can proceed with that purchase.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. If you are has ability to buy privately, we won't be able to provide you a property.
Just with respect to Norfolk Parkside, somebody's asked which local authority or London Borough is that development in, and are you still able to apply for it if you don't live in that borough?
Yes, you still be able to apply and submit an application from anywhere in UK, but it falls under Brent Council. We are kind of like feels that we located in Harrow, but there is a very small line that we're sitting in the border of Brent Council.
Can you use a lifetime ISA towards the deposit of a share ownership property?
Yes, you can. There are some limitations on some lifetime ISA about the purchase price in terms of adding the bonus, but yes, you can.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, lots of first-time buyers have lifetime ISAs and have used it towards share ownership. What is the process once you've paid your reservation fee to secure the property? And regarding the solicitors and the brokers, etc., how long does that whole process generally try and take? I know it can obviously differ, but on average, do you know how long it generally takes from a reservation?
So from a reservation point towards the exchange, we aim to have 20 days target for you to study the documents and understand everything, receive your mortgage offer, and exchange on your contract. Prior to reservation, once you view the property and submitted your application form, we will do AML checks, which will take probably for us 3 to 5 days. And only after all the checks are done at this particular site, we will then only allow you to put the reservation fee. So we don't like to take money up front, only once you're sure and able to go ahead with us.
Thank you very much. And I said I was going on gas too, but I will ask a secret bonus one. So, is shared ownership just for first-time buyers? And do you want to maybe explain what we mean by a first-time buyer?
Mainly for first-time buyers, but we touched on people who own a home and they're selling that home. In essence, really, you shouldn't own a home at the time of your purchase. But the majority of buyers this is their first home.
Yeah, but it's increasingly we're seeing people who have maybe been divorced or had a
Yeah.
relationship breakdown or are even downsizing from a private property. So yeah, as Cal says, as long as you don't own that property at the time of the actual transaction, you've sold any property that you have any entitlement to, then yeah, you can purchase a shared ownership property. So you might hear it being discussed as a first-time buyer product, but that basically means you just shouldn't own any property when you are going through the transaction of shared ownership.
Correct.
So any final comments, Andreas or Carl, that you want to leave our audience with?
Well, thank you for your invitation, Nick. Real big pleasure to be here and be in front of the people trying to explain a little bit more in details. I hope everyone will come and see it us at Norfolk Parkside. So you're very welcome to come and check it out.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. Shared ownership is an amazing product. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to buy the traditional way, but it's also a way of building some equity while you're waiting to buy the traditional way, which is 100%, because that percentage that you buy, that 25, that 50%, it's, increasing in value. So you're increasing your ownership at the time if you decide to sell that percentage. So if you are looking for your next home, consider shared ownership if you're not ready to buy the traditional way, which is 100% outright.
Great, thank you very much. So thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We have plenty of stuff going on at Share to Buy, more events coming up. We have an event in Manchester in September. We'll have some more webinars before then. So please do check out the Share to Buy Live website. You can use that QR code on the screen. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye bye.